सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। आत्मा रामानन्दरमणा आत्मा रामानन्दरमणा अच्युत केशव हरिनारायण अच्युत केशव हरिनारायण भवभयहरणा वन्दितचरणा भवभयहरणा वन्दितचरणा रघुकुलभूषण राजीवलोचन रघुकुलभूषण राजीवलोचन आदिनारायण अनन्तशयना आदिनारायण अनन्तशयना सच्चिदानन्दा सत्यनारायण सच्चिदानन्दा सत्यनारायण भवभयहरणा वन्दितचरणा रघुकुलभूषण राजीवलोचन आत्मा रामानन्दरमणा आनन्दरमणा ॐ नमो नारायणाय Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Sachidanandarupaya Vishwotpattyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha Yam Prabrajantamanupetamapetakrutyam Dvaipayano Virahakatara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Bhineduhu Tam Sarvabhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi. So till now we have seen, based on the Akashavani, Sanakadi Rishis and Naradji, they decide to do the Bhagavata Saptaham. So it was decided that on the banks of Ganga, the place called Ananda, where there's a beautiful sandy beach, they would all gather and do this Saptaham. So all the great Rishimunis, Devatas, Danavas, all of them gathered. After having glorified Bhagavatam, now comes a story. Story in order to glorify the greatness of Bhagavatam. So, what is that story? It is the story of Atmadeva. So this Atmadeva was a Brahmana, Shrauta Smarteshu Nishnatah, an expert in all these karmas, rituals. So then he had a wife. What is her name? Dhunduli. Very talkative. And anyway, all those things we have seen yesterday. So then they had everything, but the only problem was they did not have an issue, a child. So they did all kinds of dana dharma, but nothing worked. Finally, completely depressed, this Atmadeva goes to a forest, and there he drinks some water. At that time, a sannyasi comes there. He prostrates to that sannyasi and says, "Oh Swamiji, I am a very unfortunate person. The very fact that I have no child, it shows that I am so unfortunate. I don't know what papa karma I have done. And then he started crying in front of that sannyasi. So sannyasi looked at him. His heart was filled with compassion for this man. And then this sannyasi had this ability to read the lines on the forehead. By seeing the face of a person, he could predict the future. So then what did he say? Munchatnyanam prajarupam balishta karmano gatihi vivekam tu samasadya tyaja samsara vasanam shrunu vipramaya tedya prarabdham tu vilokitam sapta janmavadhitava putro naivacha naivacha. O Vipra, I can clearly see your future. And this prarabdha is very, very strong in your case. Sapta janmavadhi. For the next 7 births, putro naivacha naivacha. Not only forget about this birth. For the next 7 births, you are not going to have any child. But that doesn't mean that you have to grieve. Muncha ajnanam prajarupam. Give up this insistence that I must have a child, only then I will be happy. Nonsense. This is nothing but ajnanam. Unless you have a child, you cannot be happy. No. Vivekam tu samasadya. Tyaja samsara vasanam. This is nothing but samsara vasana. Develop right understanding about life. Happiness has nothing to do with family. Whether you are a householder or a sannyasi, no. Happiness has something to do with your state of mind. If the mind is peaceful, you are happy. So stop depending on all these worldly things being situation for happiness. Happiness has nothing to do with all this. Therefore, develop right understanding about life. Now you say that I don't have a child, therefore I am miserable. Listen. Santate sagaro dukkham avapanga pura tatha vremunchadya kutumbasham sannyase sarvatha sukham. Listen, you say that I don't have a child, therefore I am miserable. Look at the condition of Sagara Maharaj. Sagara Maharaj is a king in Surya Vamsha. He had 60,000 children. So Sagara's sons, what will you call them? Sagara. Exactly like Vasudeva's son will be called as Vasudeva. That is a construction in Sanskrit. So the story goes thus. So this king Sagara, he was doing Ashwamedha Yajna to conquer the whole world. Ashwamedha Yaga was done. So there is a horse there, a sacrificial horse. So anyone who does Ashwamedha Yaga, can become Indra also. So then Indra was terrified. This fellow, he'll become Indra. Politics is there everywhere. Greed for power. So the Indra was tensed up. So what did he do? He stole away this horse. And then what did he do? He took this horse and tied near the ashrama of Kapila Muni. And this Kapila Muni was doing tapas in Patala Loka. So he tied that horse there. So next day this Sagara Maharaj comes and the horse is missing. So he told his son, come what may, find out where this horse is. So these 60,000 children started searching everywhere. They could not find. Then they started digging the earth, toward the lower region. So that earth which is dug, now we have ocean there. That is why ocean is called Sagara. You see? So then they started digging. Finally they reached Patalaloka. There they found this horse. And this Kapila Muni is sitting and meditating there. So what did they assume? This Kapila Muni only must have stolen this horse. And then they went to attack Kapila Muni. Kapila Muni just took some water and all of them bhasma, ashes. So then poor Sagara Maharaj, he was very, very sad. In fact, the Bhagirath, so Sagara Maharaja had this desire that where my children are dead, somebody should, offer that Antyakriyas and give them Sadgati. So for that Ganga is needed. So then he told his son, he had some other son also, I think he's Asamanjas or something. The Asamanjas could not do, then he told his son could not do, his son. Finally, Bhagiratha takes that responsibility. That's how Bhagiratha brings that Ganga. So that is the story. So the point is here is, poor Sagara Maharaj, he had 60,000 children and he was so miserable because of his children. So don't think that, all those people who have children, they are very happy. No. Sometimes children can be the cause of headache and misery. And many times you feel, it's better not to have a child than this fellow. Another example is given, Anga. Avapa Angaha Puratatha. Anga's son was Vena. Vena's story comes in Bhagavatam. Very, very vicious, crooked, wicked king. He would never allow any good thing to happen in the society. No dana, no dharma, no yajna. And finally the rishis cursed him and killed him. To that extent he was wicked. You see? So if you say that children are happiness, all these people were miserable. And this Anga, what he did was, when he saw his son so wicked, crooked, he left everything and went to forest, became a hermit. So therefore, this logic that I don't have a child, therefore I am miserable. No. So therefore, muncha adya kutumpasha. Give up this desire for having this, big family, children, grandchildren. Give up this. Whatever God is doing for you, He is a well-wisher. So, cheerfully accept the choiceless conditions. This is the way to peace. This is the way to peace. In fact, sannyase sarvatha sukham. You must consider yourself to be blessed, because now that you don't have any children, you can study the scriptures. You can meditate upon God. Lot of time is available. In fact, you can take sannyasa also. Nobody is going to stop you. No family responsibilities. Sannyasi is sarvatha sukham. Then you see what he answers. Now, this fellow is crying. He answered. Who? Atmadeva. What did he say? Vivekena bhavet kimme putram dehi baladapi no chetyajamyaham pranan twadagre shokamurchitah. What is the use of viveka? Vivekena bhavet kimme. I don't want your wisdom, words of wisdom. Putram dehi baladapi. By hook or crook, by whatever means, please bless me with a child. I don't want these words of wisdom, all those things I don't want. I am not in that framework of mind to listen to all these kind of things. No chet, if you don't do this, tyajami aham pranan. I will give up my body. Shoka twadagre, in front of you, shoka murchita. The sorrow is so much that sorrow itself will take away my life. And in front of you, I will just collapse dead. And you are talking of sannyasa? Listen. Putradi sukhahinoyam sannyasa shushka evahi grihasthas saraso loke putra pautra samanvitaha. This sannyasa is shushka, very dry. Putradi sukhahina. What kind of life is sannyasa life? I don't understand how these people are happy. Same dress you have to wear. You have no choice. You can't go out and see some movies, hang out, chill out, nothing possible. And these fellows, morning till evening, all alone. No wife, no kids, no grandkids. Shushka, very dry. All the time you are alone. My God, such a boring life. Many times they come and ask, Swamiji, you are all alone here, Swamiji. You don't feel bored, Swamiji? You see? So, all these, they are all philosophies of life, remember. They are all different understandings of life at different stages. Majority of the people, this is the philosophy. Life is dry if you are alone. Life is meaningless if you don't have any money, don't have any all these pleasures, etc. Then what is happiness according to you, Atmadeva? Grihastha saraso loke. It is full of rasam. How? Putra pautra samanvitaha. You must have children. You must have grandchildren. And lot of noise should be there all the time. Then that is joy. Many times these grandparents come here to America. My God, they run away from here. Nobody on the streets. And if you want to go out, you need to have a car and a driving and all that. You are stuck here. They run away. They say, Nare Baba, this is not for me. In India, go to any street, so many people are there. Not only people, one cow is there, one buffalo is there, some dogs are there, and cats are there. It's full of life. That is India. They love it. I know some people, they just go and sit by the side of the street. And they are happy that something is happening. So much of noise is there. Something is happening. They are very happy. And some people, what they do is they switch on the TV. Something and all is going. At least that Amma is very happy that something and all is happening. Because everybody has gone for work. TV is on. So these are all that, samsara vasana it is called. So therefore, grihastha sarasaha, sannyasaha shushka, very dry, boring. So therefore, I don't want to listen to all your Vedanta. Give me a child. Iti vipragraham drishtva prabravit satapodhanah chitraketurgatah kashtam vidilekha vimarjanat. Again that sannyasi, out of his compassion, try to put some sense. See, don't try to escape from your prarabdha through unnatural ways. You will suffer. If according to prarabdha there is no child, accept that. That is what is good for you. Otherwise you are going to suffer. Look at the case of Chitraketu. So Chitraketu is another character from Bhagavatam. All these stories are there in Bhagavatam in different cantos. What is the story of Chitraketu? Chitraketu was a king, a very great king, very prosperous king, and he had very many queens, but he did not have an issue. So he went to Rishi Angiras and then forced him, persuaded him, "Oh Rishi, I want a child, come what may." So then Rishi, looking at his miserable condition, exactly the same, very insistent, stubborn. So Angiras, he just took a fruit, chanted some mantra, infused some power and said that, "Take this fruit, give it to your beloved queen. But let me tell you, a child will be born, but the child will be a source of your happiness and also sorrow." King was not bothered about all that. He just took the whatever fruit was there. When you are blind with desire, wisdom has no place to enter. The brain is paralyzed when there is a desire. Jammed. Intellect cannot think. So then he took the fruit and gave it to that queen whom he loved the most. Very many queens were there. And that queen gave birth to a child, a boy child. And there was celebration everywhere throughout the kingdom. Big celebration. Now what happened was, the king was more attached to this queen, and other queens felt that they are ignored by the king. And all these queens, they gathered together. They said that now we have been completely ignored. We are here just like a servant maid of that queen. All attention she is getting, the child is getting. All this tragedy is because that child is born. So therefore somehow we have to finish that child. So all the queens gathered together, and looking at some appropriate moment, they administered poison to that baby. The baby was sleeping or something, and they gave. Bas. So this mother was waiting, queen. When is my child going to get up? When is my child going to get up? Why is this child sleeping so long? Generally it used to get up. And then she goes and sees the child is dead. She literally falls unconscious. The news spreads, the king also comes, and he also laments like anything. The whole kingdom was plunged into the darkness of sorrow. It is at that time that Rishi Angiras and Naradji comes there. They tried to put some sense into king, but the king was not in a position to listen. When you are in deep sorrow, don't give Vedanta. Finally, Naradji said, "O king, do you want this child to be alive? Okay, I will bring him." And then, with the yogic power of Narad Rishi, he brings that Jivatma, whoever had left that body, he brings that Jivatma and makes him enter the body. Now that Jivatma enters into the body, the child comes back alive, and then there is a discourse given by the child. The whole thing is there in Bhagavatam. At the appropriate moment, we will discuss the whole thing in detail. The child says, and the king was very happy. The child has come back. But then the child, as though somebody else has entered, it is not behaving like a child. The child says, "Thousands and thousands of births I have already taken. And in all these thousands of births, I had umpteen number of fathers and mothers. Oh Rishi, tell me, who is my real father and mother?" And then starts one discourse. Just like two logs of wood, they come together when the river is flowing. For some time they are together and then they go away. In the same way, in this life also, so many jivatmas come together in the name of so many relationships. Actually speaking, sometime we are together, sometime we go away. How can you say that this relationship is eternal? Even in this world we see a cow. When the cow is born, all of them, but once that cow is sold to another person, somebody else become the parent or the owner of that cow. In the same way, this relationship in this world has absolutely no basis. This way that child gives words of wisdom, and Chitraketu listening this. He was already a very high soul. Intense vairagya comes and all his attachment goes away. After that he fixes his mind upon the Lord for a few days, concentrates upon Bhagavan and attains liberation. So this is the story of Chitraketu. So that story he says here. Chitraketur gatah kashtam. So that Chitraketu became miserable because he tried some unnatural way, trying to defeat that prarabdha destiny, and therefore he attained immense sorrow. Oh Atmadeva, I am telling you, don't do any such thing. Whatever God has given you, cheerfully accept the situations. This is what is good for you. But Atmadeva was not at all in a mood to listen. That sannyasi understood there is no point in giving any wisdom. And thus, tasyagraham samalokya phalamekam sadattavan idam bhakshaya patnyatvam tataf putro bhavishyati. Then the sannyasi, he took a fruit, chanted some mantras, infused the power, and then gave it to Atmadeva and said, give this to your wife. Then you will definitely have a son. But then listen to these conditions. Satyam shaucham dayadanam eka bhaktam tu bhojanam varshavadhistriya karyam tena putroti nirmalaha. If your wife remains very pure in this 1 year, then definitely the child going to be born will be ati nirmalaha. A very good child, virtuous child will be born. What is the discipline which she has to undertake? Now this discipline, keep this in mind, it is not only for Dunduli, it is for every to-be mother. Satyam, speak the truth. Shaucham, be pure, outer and inner purity. Daya, all your behavior should be based on the values of life. Daya means compassion. Danam, charity. Eka bhaktam tu bhojanam, eat only once. That may be little difficult in these times, but as much as possible, don't eat too much. Don't eat too spicy food. They say it is not good for the child. Eat sattvic food. So here the condition is, eat only once. Varshavadhi striya karyam. The lady has to follow this for 1 full year till that child is there in the womb. Tena putraha ati nirmalaha. The child who is going to be born will be extremely pure, noble, virtuous. Okay. Eva muktva yayau yogi viprastu grahamagataha patnyaf panau phalam dattva swayam yatastu kutrachit. Thus saying, that yogi gave that fruit to Atmadeva, and then that yogi, that sannyasi, he went away somewhere. This Vipra, Atmadeva, he took the fruit and came back to his home, gave it to his wife, told all the story, but a big mistake he did. What is the mistake? He should have ensured that his wife ate that fruit. He did not do that. He gave the fruit, she said, I will eat later. And then he said, okay, you eat whenever you are. He left. What did this lady do? Listen. Taruni kutila tasya Sakhyagre charurodacha aho chinta mamotpanna phalam chaham na bhakshaye. This lady was very crooked. And then when her friend came, Sakhi, she started crying. Aho chinta mamotpanna. Ayyo, this big trouble has come to me. I am not going to eat this fruit. Why you don't want to eat this fruit? Don't you want a child? Yeah, I want a child, but I don't want the pain associated with this child. Listen what argument she gave. Falabhakshena garbhasyat garbhenodara vruddhita swalpabhaksham tato shaktihi grihakaryam katham bhavet. Falabhakshena garbhasyat. I'll become pregnant. And when I become pregnant, the stomach will start bulging out. That will be very, very, uncomfortable. And moreover, it is said that only once you must eat. Ayyo, then I will not have any energy to work. Grihakaryam katham bhavet. I have lot of things to do. Household chores, who will do? So therefore, I don't think this is practical. Deivadhati vrajet grame palayet garbhini katham shukavan nivaset garbha tam kukshe kathamutsrujet. Suppose there is an attack by some robber. Then with this garbha, how will I run? So therefore, lot of problems are there if this garbha comes. And suppose this child, Shukavat nivaset garbha. Shuka Brahma Rishi. This fellow never came out of the womb. For 12 years he was there inside the womb of the mother. So then they asked, hey, why are you there? Come out. He said, no, Bhagavan's Maya is so powerful, I don't want to come out and get trapped in Maya. Finally it is said, Bhagavan himself had to come. Hey, come out. I ensure you that my Maya will not. Only then this Shuka Brahma Rishi, who is writing the whole thing, he came out of the womb of his mother. So that story is being told here. Suppose this child, something like Shuka, he remains here. Then after 1 year also the fellow will not come out. I will be the one who is suffering. So therefore, and also, tiryakchedagato garbha tadame maranam bhavet prasutau darunam dukkham sukumari katham sahe. Suppose the child, it becomes inverted. Then though I will die. And the amount of pain in delivery, how will I, tender-hearted, how will I go through that labor pain? So by all ways, this is a very, very painful affair. Mandayam mai sarvasvam nananda samhare tada satya shochadi niyamaha duraradhya sadrishyate. So naturally when the garbha is there, when I am pregnant, I will not be able to move around fast. And my sister-in-law, she will exploit the situation, take away so many things. And I will not be very active also. So, and moreover, this satya, shaucha, etc. niyama following is impossible for me. Lalane palane dukkham prasutayascha vartate vandhyava vidhava nari sukhini cheti me matihi. And moreover, if the child is born, lalane palane dukkham, the fellow will become unclean, and then you have to clean the fellow, and then middle of the night he will cry, and then your sleep is gone, your whole routine is gone. It is a very, very painful affair. According to me, Vandhya and Vidhava, they are the happiest people. Either you should be a barren woman, or you should be a widower. That is the best. They are the happiest. Evam kutarka yogena tat phalam naiva bhakshitam patya prishtam phalam bhuktam cheti tayeritam. In this way, giving all kinds of fallacious logic, kutarka, she did not eat the fruit. And then Atmadeva came later. Did you eat the fruit? She said, yeah, I ate the fruit. In spite of living with her for so many years, he could not understand her nature. This was Atmadeva. Ekada bhagini tasyaha tadgriham swechaya gata tadagre kathitam sarvam chinteyam mahatihi me. One day, her sister came to visit her. And then she told all her story. Durbalatena dukkhena hyanuje karavanikim sabravin mama garbhosti tam dasyami prasutitah. So she told, what am I supposed to do? I have told my husband also that, I have eaten. So now he will be expecting a child. What am I supposed to do? So then she said, don't worry. I have already a child growing in me. When the child is born, I will give it to you. You just say that this is that child. Tavat kalam sagarbheva gupta tishtha grihe sukham vittam tvam matpateryacha sate dasyati balakam. Till then, you pretend that you are pregnant. Act like that. Okay, and once my child comes, I will give it to you. Then you say that this is your child. But what about your husband? No, you give some money to him. He'll be happy. Sister's husband will be happy if he gets some money. So the deal was finalized. Shanmasiko mrito balah iti loko vadishyati tam balam poshayishyami nityamagatyate grihe. Now another thing will be there. See, there are so many people who have seen that you are pregnant. So people will ask, hey, what about your child? What will you give answer? No, then I will say my child is born dead. Still born. And then, as far as this child is concerned, I will come every day and feed this child. The world will think that it is your child. As far as feeding is concerned, I will come and feed. So this way, she was also very happy. Dhunduli. Falamarpayadhinvaitam parikshartham tu sampradam tattadacharitam sarvam tathaiva sri swabhavatah. But what about this fruit? What should we do with this fruit? Do one thing, let us test. Maybe it is fake. You just give this fruit to that cow. And they gave this fruit to the cow. Okay. Athakalena sanari prasuta balakam tada aniya janako balam rahasye dundhulim dadau. Over a period of time, that sister gave birth to a child, and that husband of that sister took the child, came and gave it to Dhunduli. Tayacha kathitam bhartri prasutas sukhamarbhakah lokasya sukhamutpannam Atmadeva prajodayat. And then Atmadeva was informed, hey, your wife has delivered the child. And the delivery was a very comfortable delivery. Truly comfortable delivery. And Atmadeva was so happy. Not only Atmadeva was happy, all those people, See, he was a very honored person in the society. Because, Brahmana, he was doing a lot of karmas for others and all that. So he had a very good name, respect. So people also were very happy. Ah, thank God, finally Atmadeva got a son. They were all very happy. Dadau danam dvijatibhyo jata karma vidhaya cha Gitavaditra ghosho bhut tadvare mangalam bahu. And Atmadev, he invited so many brahmanas. Dakshina was given. Dana dharma was done. Jata karma was done for the child. You know the ceremony for the newborn baby? That was done. And there was aghosha with lot of instruments and all those things. Big celebration. Bharturagre bravid vakyam stanyam nasti kuche mama anyastanyena nirdugdha katham pushnami balakam matsvasuscha prasutaya mrito balastu vartate tamakarya grihe raksha saterbham poshaishyati. Then she said to her husband, see, the child is born, but in my breast there is no milk. And I don't want somebody to, some animal, etc., like cow's milk and all, I don't want. My sister, she also had a baby, but that baby died, but she has milk. So therefore, let her stay with us, and she will feed our child. Atmadeva said, yeah, why not? Please go ahead. Thus, that problem was also settled. Lot of problems. How much? When you tell a lie, where all you have to fix the, you see? Oh my God. Far better is to deliver the child. How many places you have to make adjustments. Patina tatkritam sarvam putra rakshana hetave putrasya dundukariti nama matra pratishtitam. So this Atmadeva, for the sake of child, he did everything, he accepted all condition. And finally, mother said, I will name the child. Atmadeva said, please go ahead. And finally, Dhunduli put her son's name Dhundukari. Don't confuse. Dhunduli is the mother. Dhundukari is the son. Actually, he is the son of sister, not his son. But Atmadeva thought, it is my son. He was very, very happy. Trimase nirgate chatha sadhenus sushuverbhakam sarvanga sundaram divyam nirmalam kanakaprabham. After 3 months, wonder of wonders, that cow also gave birth. Because that fruit was given to the cow. The cow also gave birth, and everybody was amazed. This child was not a calf, it was a human baby. And what was the nature of this child? Sarvanga Sundaram. You see, all those tapas was done by the cow. Sarvanga Sundaram, all limbs beautiful, divyam, divine, nirmalam, pure, kanaka prabham, bright as gold. Drishtva prasanno viprastu samskaran swayamadadhe matvaschairyam jana sarve dridrikshartham samagataha. And Atmadeva was so happy. Another child. You see? And that samskara he himself did. People started coming from everywhere. Cow gave birth to a human child. To see that child, people started coming everywhere. And that child was also very divine. Bhagyodayo dhuna jata Atmadevasya pashyata dhenva balaf prasutastu devarupiti kautukam. People started saying, oh, Atmadev's real bhagya has come now. He is so fortunate. All the Shani Dasha is gone. And this child was very divine. So people were so happy. Natnyatam tadrahasyam tu kenapi vidhiyo gatah gokarnam tam sutam drishtva gokarnam nama chakarut. The real secret nobody knew except that Dhunduli and the sister. Nobody knew the secret. And now this child had a unique feature. The feature was his ear was like the ear of a cow. Go karna. Karna means ear. Go means a cow. So looking at this unique feature, Atmadeva named him Gokarna. Gokarna. Kiyat kalena tau jatau tarunau tanayavubhau Gokarnaf pandito jnani dhundhukari mahakhalah. As the year passed on, these two children, they started growing. And as they started growing, they started exhibiting their true characteristics, their true color. Gokarnaha panditaha jnani. This Gokarna, who was born through the cow, he became a pandita, a jnani, a wise person, a yogi, an embodiment of all virtues. What about this fellow, Dhundhukari? Mahakala. And now there is a description of how wicked and crooked this fellow was. Listen. Snana shaucha kriyahinah. No snana, no shaucha kriya, etc. Very dirty, filthy, no taking bath, etc. Durbhakshi, he will eat whatever he gets, vegetarian or non-vegetarian, living or non-living. Durbhakshi. Krodhavardhitaha. He was an embodiment of all vices. If somebody comes to correct him, put some advice, hey, this is not the way to live, he would get angry, shout back. Dushparigraha kartacha. All kinds of filthy things he would gather and collect. He would collect arms also, ammunitions and arms. All these, what you call that, weapons. All kinds of dirty things he would collect. Now here it is written, Shavahastena bhojanam. What actually it means, I don't know. There are different explanations. Shavahasta means hand of a corpse. He would eat food from the hand of a corpse. What actually it means? In one explanation it is said, he used to eat from his left hand. That doesn't appear to be too logical. So the point is, he used to eat everything. Very filthy. And we don't know whether what is meant here is eating non-vegetarian. We don't know. No. Eating the hand from a dead body, we don't know what it is. See, many times, that certain things which are very commonly understood, over a period of time, we don't know what actually it means. English also has this thing. There are certain terms. Certain terms are very good meaning, but over a period of time, that term becomes a very bad meaning also, by constant usage. So some terms are such that we don't know what actually they meant. Shavahastena bhojanam. Anyway, continuing. Chaura sarvajana dveshi parameshma pradipakah lalanayarbhakan dhrutva sadyah kupenya patayat. He would steal things from others' houses. Chauraha sarvajana dveshi. Everybody in that city, in that village, hated him. They felt that how can Atmadeva, such a fellow, his son? Nobody could believe. And the worst part, Paraveshma Pradipakaha. Those times the houses were made of, thatched hut, grass and wood. He would set fire to them. When nobody is there, he would just go set fire to others' houses. And that would just burn. And even worse, Lalanaya Arbhakan Dhrutva Sadhya Kupe Nipatat. He would take small children as though to fondle them, and when nobody is around, he would put them in the well. Small children. So you can imagine how cruel he was. And his mother is worried, hey, where is my child? Where is my child? This fellow has put it in the well. This was the kind of person Dhundukari was. Himsakaha, very violent in nature, criminal in nature. Shastradhari, always used to carry some or the other weapon with him. Deenan dhanam prapidakaha, whoever were helpless, poor, blind, weak, he would trouble them, torture them. Chandala bhirataha nityam, all the time he was surrounded by such uncultured people. He was a gang leader. He had, some group of people always around him. It is here Chandala. Chandala means dog eaters. Chandala means highly uncultured, impure, gross people. So he had his own gang. Pashahasta Shvasangata, and a pack of dogs also were always with him. That itself shows that he was, eating all this non-veg and all that. That's how these dogs always roam around. They get something. And he had a noose also. Pashahasta. Tena Vaishyakusangena Pitriam Vittam Tunashitam. Not only that, he would visit the houses of prostitutes. So he was an embodiment of all vices. What all you can think of, everything was there in this man. Vaishyakusange. And then, now when you go to these prostitutes, etc., you have to give money. So what he would do? He would steal all money from home. And this way, Pitram Vittam Tunashitam. Poor Atmadeva, whatever he had earned, everything was gone. And finally there was nothing left to give. Then what did he do? Ekada Pitarau Tadya Patrani Swayamaharata. He started sealing the vessels. The gold vessels, silver vessels, whatever is kept in the puja room, etc. He started stealing that. And one day they caught him. They stopped him, and he gave beating to both of them, mother and father. Dunduli and Atmadeva, thoroughly he beat them. And then he took the vessel and went away. Now, this father, what must have been his condition, you can just imagine. Tat pita kripanah prochaihi dhanahino rurodaha Vandhyatvam tu samichinam kuputro dukkhadayakaha. Tatpita, that Atmadeva, Kripanaha, he was so miserable, so helpless in front of his own son. Prochehi dhanahinaha ruroda. By then, this fellow had completely ruined that house. All wealth was gone. Atmadeva had literally become a pauper, and then he started crying loudly, beating also on top of it. And then he said, it was far better not to have any issue. Kuputraha dukkhadayakaha. Kvatisthami kvagacchami ko me dukkham vyapohayet Prananstyajami dukkhena ha kashtam mama samsthitam. Kvatisthami, where will I stay? Kvagacchami, where will I go? Kome dukkham vyapohayet, who will put an end to this suffering, this sorrow of mine? Prananstyajami, I think far better is, let me put an end to my life. And thus, Atmadeva was miserable. Now just imagine the condition of Atmadeva. So you have to imagine that such a son is born to me. What will be my condition? Remember, he was honored, respected in the society. Everything went away. Honor gone, money gone, peace of mind gone. This is called as suffering. Now we may think that we are far better than Atmadeva, isn't it? Anyone more miserable than this fellow? Now see what happens. So Atmadeva was ready. Ready for what? Ready for knowledge. This is called vairagya. You know that state of mind. This is called mumukshutvam, that desire to become free from this misery. That term mumukshutvam, what actually means? Here it is. The real mumukshutvam is as though a person's jata is on fire. How that person will run around to put off that fire. That desire a person must have for God, then he is liberated. So to show that, all these things have been described. Then what happened? When the person becomes fit, Guru comes. And who is the Guru? Gokarna. At his own home that person was there. He never understood his value. When this Atmadeva was miserable, not knowing what to do, thinking of committing suicide because there is no other way out to put an end to his misery. At that time, Gokarna is seeing everything. He came to his father. Tadanim tu samagatya Gokarno jnana sanyutaha bodhayamasa janakam vairagyam paridarshayan. Now Atmadeva was prepared for knowledge. Remember when that sannyasi gave the same knowledge? He was not ready. He said, enough of your Vedanta. Give me a child. Now condition is totally different. He was prepared. He was available. And now Gokarna gives some words of wisdom. What does he say? Asara khalu samsarah dukkha rupi vimohakah sutah kasya dhanam kasya snehavan jalate nisham. This samsara is asara, essenceless. Dukkha rupi vimohakah. This world is nothing but dukkhalayam. Remember Bhagavad Gita. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Same teaching is given here, but wrapped up in a beautiful story. That's all. Samsara dukkha rupi vimohakah. It is deluding. And the truth of this world is snehavan anisham jalate. Jwalate. Snehavan. Snehavan means what? Sneha means attachment. Any person who is attached to anything of this world, anisham jwalate. Every moment that person burns. And the intensity of burning is directly proportional to attachment. Attachment. This is the truth of this world. We may think that attachment is happiness. Fool you are. Attachment is no happiness. You now reflect in your own life. That person to whom you are most attached, that person will give you maximum tears. Yes or no? If your answer is no, still you are Atmadeva of that old one. Old Atmadeva. You understood? So the truth of life is this. The more you are attached to the world, the more the suffering. Greater the intensity of attachment, greater will be the suffering. Yes, this is a fact of life. Sutaha kasya, dhanam kasya. My father, think a little. This son, to whom does it belong? Dhanam, whom does it belong? Now you are crying that, ayo, my wealth is gone, ayo, my son is like this. Nobody belongs to anyone. And now there is this big moha, delusion, that wealth is the source of happiness. Listen. Na chendrasya sukham kinchit, na sukham chakravartinah, sukhamasti viraktasya munerekanta jivanah. Who is the happiest one in this world? Deluded people may think, oh, Indra is the happiest one. Indra, the Lord of Sarga. No. Nacha Indrasya Sukham Kinchit. He is miserable. You think Indra, the Lord of Heaven, is happy? Not at all. Na Sukham Chakravartinah. Chakravarti, the emperor, the ruler of the whole world. He is also miserable. The grass looks green on the other side. It is not true. Everybody is miserable. Then, oh dear son, then who is the one who is happy? Sukhamasti viraktasya. Really happy person is the one who is virakta. Virakta means what? Free from any kinds of attachment. His attachment is only to God, the ultimate reality. Such a renunciate alone is happy. Munehe ekanta jivanaha. Such a muni, such a ekanta jivi is only happy. Muni means what? Manana Shilavan. Those who are constantly contemplating upon the higher truth, upon God. Such a person is called a Muni. Muni means Mananam. Mananam means reflection. Reflection means what? What is he reflecting? Reflecting upon the higher truth, God, etc. Ekanta Jivanaha. Now again you have to understand this word. What is Ekanta Jivanaha means? Living in solitude. That is what, loosely translated. Ekanta Jivana means Eka Anta Jivana. Eka means what? One. Anta means what? End or goal. The person who is fixing his mind upon that one goal, which is the ultimate goal. Ekanta Jivana doesn't mean somebody who is living in solitude. No, that means escapism from world then. No. It has to be properly understood, The one who is living for God, keeping God as the highest priority, performing all duties and responsibilities as a worship of God, to please God, such a person is called Ekanta Jivi. So such a person may be a householder, he may be a sannyasi. It doesn't matter. So what matters is this clear understanding that God alone is permanent, everything else is impermanent. With this understanding, a person who lives in this world, such a person alone is happy. Everybody else who depends on the world for happiness, who is enslaved by the world, they are all miserable. My dear father, understand this. Your misery is because of this. You depended on your son for happiness and your son cheated you. You depended on wealth for happiness. All the wealth is also gone. You depended on your family life for happiness and you got only misery. This is the reason. Father, understand. Suicide is not going to solve the problem. That is also a kind of escapism only. Oh, there is so much of sorrow, I'll commit suicide. You think by suicide you are going to solve the problem? No. Next birth again you are born and again you will create all these kinds of environment. Why? Lesson was not learnt. The law of this life is, if a lesson is not learnt, that lesson will keep repeating to you again and again. Is a law. So better learn the lesson, evolve and move forward. Don't try to escape. So therefore, dear Father, listen. Munchatnyanam prajarupam mohato narake gatihi nipatishyati dehoyam sarvam tyaktva vanam vraja. So therefore, muncha atnyanam, give up this ignorance. All your sorrow is because of this ignorance. No right understanding about life. Remember, this man is a Shrauta Smarta Nishnata. He has studied all scriptures, but wisdom did not come. There is a huge difference between studying the scriptures and doing all kinds of rituals and chanting all mantras versus wisdom. They are two different things. Just because a pujari is able to chant mantras beautifully well, he is able to do all kinds of anushtanam beautifully well, doesn't mean that that person is wise. That is a part of profession, that's all. So all these points become clear. That is the beauty of a story. There are so much to think. There are so many things which are said in the story, but it is not written. Lot of unwritten wisdom is there. Only when you go on reflecting upon it, you get all this. Earlier it was said, this Atmadeva, Dvitiya iva Bhaskaraha, it is said. He was like a second sun when compared to all these kinds of rituals and all that. Expert in all these kinds of rituals, anushtanam. But look at his condition. So what does it mean? Mere learning to chant the mantras or doing so many homa, havana, all these rituals will not make you wise. What we are discussing is Jnana Kanda. What he was an expert is Karma Kanda. He was an expert in Karma Kanda, but Jnanam was not there. And Karma Kanda will not give you Jnanam. That is the message here. Right. So, Muncha Jnanam Prajarupam. Give up this ignorance, this attachment to family, to children. Mohato narake gati. If you continue this, naraka will be your gati. Naraka, not that after death you will go to hell. No, right here. What is hell? Suffering is hell. When a person is suffering, he may be in the 7-star hotel. How does it matter? He is in hell only. Because we are where our thoughts are. We live in our thoughts. We don't live in building. We don't live in the world. We don't live in some country. No. We live in our thoughts. If those thoughts are miserable thoughts, pain-giving thoughts, full of suffering, then we are in hell. Mohataha narake gatihi. So therefore, dear Father, understand this reality of life. Nipatishyasi deha ayam. This body is going to fall someday or the other. So don't be so attached to this body and the body-related relationships. This body itself will not go with you. What to talk of other relationships which are connected with this body? So therefore, stop this attachment. So what are you supposed to do at this stage? At this stage, Atmadeva was 60 years. Later on it will come. His age was 60. Sarvam tyaktva vanam vraja. Go away from home now. Enough. Anyway, wealth is not there. Sarvam tyaktva vanam vraja. Go to some forest. This is the time for vanaprastha. You see, enough of this grihasthashrama. Then this father, was he listening? Yes, he was listening. What did he say? Tad vakyam tu samakarnya gantu kamah pita bravit kim kartavyam vane tata tattvam vada savistaram andhakupe sneha pashe baddhav panguraham shatah karmana patito nunam mamuddhara dayanidhe. Look at the condition of Atmadeva. He is describing about himself. Andhakupe sneha pashe baddhaha. And how is he addressing his son? Hey dayanidhe. Not hey putra. Hey dayanidhe. Oh ocean of compassion. This is my condition. Sneha pashe baddha. Completely tied down by sneha pasha. Sneha pasha means what? The cords of attachment. Andhakupe patitah. Fallen in this dry, dark well. Absolutely helpless. Don't know how to come out. So therefore my condition is panguhu aham. Shata. I am a fool. I am an ignorant person. Completely lame. Handicapped. Because of this sorrow, I am not able to think. That inability to think is called being lame. Just like when the leg is not there, physical movement is impossible. In the same way, when peace of mind is not there, freedom of thinking we lose. We are not even able to think, especially when deep sorrows come, that mind is paralyzed. So, panguhu aham shataha. Oh dear son, oh embodiment of compassion, please guide me. Kim kartavyam vane tata. Oh dear son, you said that I should go to forest. Please tell me what I should do after going to forest. Tattvam vada savistaram. In detail you tell me what I should do. I am ready to do anything what you say. You see, this is the glory of suffering. You become humble. You become down to earth. You become a perfect recipient for knowledge. You become like a dry sponge to absorb the water of knowledge. You see? This is the glory of suffering. And that is why Bhagavan has kept suffering in this world. Just see the transition of Atmadeva. How he was. What did he say earlier? Vivekena bhavet kimme. What is the use of viveka? The same fellow. And now he is craving for viveka. That wisdom. You see the transition? Now don't see that, oh, Atmadeva did like that. It is my story. Each and every one. Now you understand why Kali Yuga is very, very great blessing. What is said? There is no other Yuga like Kali Yuga. Parikshit, allow Kali to survive. Why? Because in Kali Yuga, spiritual progress is very fast. Why spiritual progress is very fast? There you are. Atmadeva, what a transition. In 20 years, this man is completely changed. Sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha. Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, Mumukshutvam. The greatest virtue is Mumukshutvam. The rest, everything will just fall in place. the desire to come out of that misery. That's what we see in Atmadeva. That is why Kali Yuga is very, very a blessed age. Because in every family, something or the other happens like this. A lot of suffering. When there is a lot of suffering, quickly the mind goes towards God. And very easily surrender happens. So now, Atmadeva is asking, oh my dear son, not son, hey Karunanidhe, Dayanidhe, please tell me, what am I supposed to do? So now next two verses is power-packed with Vedantic sadhana. Dehesti mamsarudhire bhimatim tyajatvam jaya sutadishu sada mamatam vimuncha pasyanisham jagadidam kshanabhanganishtham vairagya ragarasiko bhava bhakti nishtah dharmam bhajasva satatam tyajaloka dharman sevasva sadhu purushan jahi kama trishna anyasya dosha guna chintanamashu muktva seva katharasamaho nitaram pibatvam. Two verses dedicated for Vedantic wisdom. In fact, this is also a beautiful guideline for all the vanaprasthis. Those for whom the children have grown up and now you don't know what to do. This is what you have to supposed to do. So what is said here? Dehe asti mamsa rudhire abhimatim tyajatvam. Tyaja, give up. What? Abhimati, extreme attachment, infatuation, identification. Give up this identification, infatuation, attachment towards what? Dehe, to this body. What is this body? Asti mamsa rudhire. This body which is filled with all kinds of impure things. Like asti, bone. Mamsa, flesh. Rudhire, blood. This body which is so impure. You are not this. You are the observer of this body. This knowledge must get firmly rooted in you. This body is there today, tomorrow it will perish, whether you like it or not. So before it perishes, detach yourself, disidentify yourself from this body. Right? Not only this body, everything associated with this body. Jaya, Suta, Adishu, Sada, Mamatam Vimuncha. Give it your, what you call, Mamakara. The feeling of mindness towards what? Jaya, Suta. Jaya means wife. Suta means son. Adishu, meaning family members. All these family members are related to this body. The body and all the family members related to the body give up this attachment. It is not said give up your family members. Huh? Not giving up your family members, giving up your attachment to family members. Otherwise, you will come and kill me. Or tomorrow somebody will come and kill me. What, Swamiji, you are telling all this? Are you bent upon destroying our family? Be very clear here. Mamatam. Attachment. The problem is not family members. Please keep this in mind. Problem is not family. Problem is not family members. Problem is my unhealthy attachment with my family members. This has to be very clearly understood. Because these kinds of, small misunderstanding creates problem in the family. And they run away from spirituality. from scriptures, etc. So this is number 2. Number 3, Pashya Anisham Jagadidam Kshana Bhanganishtam. Always at the back of the mind, remember this. What? Anisham, every day. Again and again remember. What is that? Idam Jagat Kshana Bhanganishtam. This world is impermanent. Nothing in this world is permanent. Kshana Bhangam. In fact, every Kshanam Bhanga is happening. Destruction is happening. Every moment change is happening. Change is a changeless law of this universe. Always remember this. Many times we get so busy with our worldly life that all these things we forget, we ignore, and when suddenly something happens, we collapse. All this collapsing is because of ignoring the reality of life. All sorrows are because we ignore the reality of life. Remember, reality will never give you sorrow, but ignoring the reality will give you sorrow. Peace and reality, they go together. Ignoring the reality and sorrow, they go together. So these are all the words of wisdom because they are reality, solid realities of life. Pashya Anisham Jagadidam Kshanabhanganishtam. Therefore, Vairagya Raga Rasiko Bhava Bhakti Nishtaha. Therefore, what should be our attitude towards the world? Vairagya, dispassion. Externally, fulfill all your responsibilities, serve everyone, love everyone. At the back of the mind, always remember, everything is impermanent. This is the healthy detachment we have to cultivate. But then, leaving the world is not possible unless you hold on to something higher. Hold on to something higher and then leave the lower. Mere Vairagya nobody can practice. So what is that higher which we have to hold on? Bhava Bhakti Nishtaha. Develop bhakti towards the Lord. Love towards the Lord. Hold on to God. Only then you will have the strength to leave the world. Leave the attachment to the world. This has to be clearly understood. When we devote more and more time for God, devotion, etc., when we grow in devotion for God, all our physical, psychological, intellectual, spiritual needs are fulfilled. That is the beauty. When you hold on to God, many times, why are we so attached to family? Because there is a deep desire to be loved. That is the reason. I want love. I want to be loved. I want to love. This desire is there. That's a psychological desire, an emotional desire. But the moment you connect to God, what happens is this desire is fulfilled. I experience love from God. I am able to love God. Once that happens, then the dependence on the world for love drops away automatically. This is called as healthy spiritual progress. Suppression is not going to work. Running away from family is not going to work. Escapism is not going to work. Sannyasa is not going to work. If all these things have to work, there is only one way: develop love for God. And how do you develop love for God? Developing right understanding about God. Never forget this. And how do you develop right understanding about God? Study group. Study the scriptures. What else? Okay, now one more verse is there. The verse of wisdom that we will see tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ।